Douglas Trumble, do you of clear mind and conscience pledge to be my shadow?
Yes.
Are you willing to do anything to serve and protect the people of the silo?
Yes.
Good.
Inside her office, Juliet receives a message from Sims informing her that Marnes was found dead in his apartment, and they suspect it was a homicide. Meanwhile, Paul Billings, the judicial employee whom Judge Meadows wanted to become sheriff, arrives at the department. When asked what he's doing there, Billings informs Juliet that he's been appointed as the new chief deputy, the replacement of Marnes and her main assistant. Inside Marnes' apartment, Juliet notices that a drawing of John's, which was previously hanging on his wall, has been torn down. Additionally, when she checks Marnes' pockets, she finds a piece of paper with a list of suspects printed on it, with Doris Kennedy's name having a circle around it. Later, inside the mayor's office, Bernard and Sims deliberate on how to convince the citizens of the silo that Johns and Marnes died of natural causes, rather than being murdered. They fear that revealing the truth would cause the citizens to become even more distressed and could potentially lead to chaos. As a result, they decide to push the narrative that the long walk they took down to Mechanical was overwhelming for their bodies at their age. They also decide to announce that the two were in love, making their deaths occurring within days of each other seem almost poetic and romantic. As Juliet prepares to head out to interrogate a potential suspect, Billings suggests that he should accompany her, to which she reluctantly agrees. After briefly questioning the suspect, they realize that he has a solid alibi and decide to leave him be. Juliet then suggests that Billings should take a lunch break with his family, as they must be missing him. Now alone, she decides to investigate Patrick Kennedy, suspecting he may have killed Marnes to avenge the death of his wife Doris. With this in mind, she heads to the same apartment she and Marnes visited the previous day. However, once again she receives no response when she knocks. Undeterred, she skillfully picks the lock and enters. While looking around for evidence, she opens a closet and finds a box of rat poison and the missing drawing of John's. Satisfied with her findings, she places the items back and leaves the apartment. As she exits, she is noticed by a passerby who asks who she is looking for. When she replies Patrick Kennedy, the passerby simply says, "He's not here," and walks away. After reflecting on the passerby's comment, Juliet realizes that the second reason Patrick told her and Marnes that they were wasting their time by knocking on that door the previous day was that he no longer lived in that apartment. This leads her to conclude that Patrick didn't kill Marnes. Instead, the real murderer wanted to frame Patrick by planting the rat poison and drawing in his old apartment, unaware that he had moved out. Realizing this, Juliet hastily starts walking around the streets looking for Patrick, eventually finding him painting a building as part of his job. Without hesitation, she grabs him by the shoulder and pulls him through the streets. As they walk, she reassures him that she's not arresting him, but rather taking him to a safe place. Around the same time, Billings decides to skip his lunch break and instead head to Judicial to meet with Sims. Upon entering Sims' office, he finds him sitting with the man who killed Marnes the previous night. However, Billings is unaware of this fact and only knows that the man's name is Douglas Trumble and that he works for Judicial. After Trumble leaves the room, Billings asks why he was there, prompting Sims to reveal that Trumble is a candidate to become his shadow. After leaving Sims' office, Trumble heads to Patrick's old apartment to check if Juliet had already found the evidence he planted. To his surprise, Juliet ambushes him, knowing that he would return to check on the evidence. Upon seeing him, she recognizes that he works for Judicial by his uniform. After revealing to him that he planted the evidence in the wrong apartment, he realizes that this incriminates him and starts running away from Juliet. She chases after him through the streets and eventually down the stairs of the silo. Simultaneously, Mayor Bernard announces the start of a beloved event in the silo called the Race to the Top, where participants start running up the stairs of the silo, and whoever reaches the top level first is declared the winner. While chasing Trumble, Juliet is constantly distracted by the racers, making it difficult for her to keep track of him. Seizing the opportunity, Trumble lunges at Juliet out of nowhere. He starts pushing her over the rails of the stairs, attempting to drop her to her death. Eventually, he succeeds in pushing her over the edge. leaving her barely hanging onto the rails before making his escape. Noticing that Juliet is in grave danger, a few racers quickly rush to her aid. They pull her back onto the stairs into safety before continuing their race. Later that night, Trumble makes his way to the janitorial room, where he knows he will find Sims. As he approaches the door and raises his hand to knock, Sims opens it, as if he knew Trumble was there. Sims inquires if Trumble knows what lies within the room, with Trumble replying that he does not. Sims reveals that only a select few are privy to the secrets of the janitorial room, indicating that it's not just a cleaning room, but a place which holds secrets of great importance. As they walk together, Sims acknowledges that Trumble has made mistakes with the death of George Wilkins and the framing of Patrick Kennedy. Despite this, Sims praises Trumble for having drive and dedication, two qualities he seeks in his shadow. As a result, Sims announces that Trumble will be his shadow. However, after making his day, Sims catches Trumble off guard by shoving him off the rails and to his death. After discovering Trumble's body at the bottom of the silo, Juliet and Billings head to Judicial to inform Judge Meadows of their findings. They tell her that they believe Trumble killed Johns and Marnes, and when he realized that his arrest was inevitable, he took his own life. This is evidenced by a suicide note found in his pocket. Judge Meadows tells Juliet that she believes her, but orders her not to spend any more time investigating the matter since the murderer himself is now dead, effectively putting an end to the case. Later, inside Bernard's office, he has a conversation with Juliet. He admits that he was wrong about her at first. However, now he sees her potential and is willing to help her in any way he can. This leads Juliet to request 2 days off to return to the mechanical level to pack properly and say goodbye to her friends. He agrees, and she immediately makes her way down to Martha's workshop. Martha informs her that she has made some progress on the camcorder. However, she faces a challenge, as the wiring is too small and she doesn't have magnifying glasses that are strong enough. This is due to the fact that Judicial destroys any lenses beyond a certain magnification. As a result, Martha mentions that there are 2 laws within the pact of which she can't make sense. The first one prohibits building machines that can go up and down the silo, while the second law prohibits the use of magnifying lenses beyond a certain magnification. 2 very strange laws, according to Martha. After leaving Martha's, Juliet makes her way down to the secret pit at the bottom of the silo. There, she picks up one of George's relics, a candy dispenser, which she intends to use as part of her plan to uncover the truth about his death.